Almost every influencer and dating coach would advise against wasting months of your time chasing a woman who's not interested. Many men believe that one woman is the only person they will ever get, and this makes them continuously chase a woman, even when she's not interested. But what if you could continue living your life and accomplishing your goals, and the woman you like will automatically begin to miss you? In fact, this is not as difficult as you might think, and once you gain insight into how the female mind works, it becomes that much easier. You see, you can make any woman or person on this planet miss you, even if they're not interested. The goal of this video is to help you better understand how to make these changes and what you need to do to make this happen. Your approach should be beneficial to you while allowing her to realize what you are and eventually begin to miss you. But before we get into these critical tips, we need to look at what it is that women find attractive. What attraction means to women. One of the biggest issues we found among many men is that they don't truly know what attraction means in a relationship. Men are mostly focused on one thing, and this is generally what a relationship should be for them to be happy. However, women are a bit more complicated, and attraction can mean a variety of things depending on who you ask. As we've mentioned in many prior videos, attraction for women stems from 3 things. These 3 things include how safe she feels, how many resources she has to survive, and finally, it all comes down to how comfortable you are with professing your love to her. The issue is that many men do not notice this, and they tend to fall flat when it comes to making sure these 3 highly important things have been met. Once you manage to establish some of these feelings, it doesn't matter whether she thinks you're hot or not. You've basically won her personality over, and this should be more than enough to ensure that she likes you. What we've found is that women will continue missing a man regardless of how they feel. This is very simple to explain, and since no one else is willing to make the same compromises or to have her feel a certain way she likes, she'll revert back to the person who does. This is why it's so critical that you focus on making a woman feel to get the most out of her. With all this said, let's look at what you can do to make a woman miss you badly. Number 1, the value of time. One of the first things we need to get out of the way is certainly how important time is. You see, time is a very valuable resource to have, and people are not willing to give this up freely. However, this is not about gaining more of her time, but rather overloading her with free time. One thing we've realized is that women tend to get bored rather quickly, especially when they have too much time available. Additionally, time makes them think quite a bit, which keeps them from being distracted from how they feel. We would recommend that once you've had a successful date or you have a great encounter, give a woman some time to digest what just happened. Not only will the good times continue to mull around in her mind, but you won't come across as desperate and needy like many other men when it comes to the world of dating. You see, most men are so obsessed with women that they'll constantly be focused on them and want to force them into dates frequently. This doesn't give her the time to digest the situation and to get in touch with how she feels. Many women tend to feel overwhelmed, and this is when she might ghost you. The great thing about giving a woman time is that you get time as well. Instead of having to invest in someone, you can focus on your own goals. Number 2, reduce your availability. One of the reasons why gold is the best possible investment is due to the rarity of the element. You see, the more available something or someone is, the less it is valued, and people often simply just skip over these kinds of things. If you don't believe us, look at some of the people who you see every day or every week. It tends to become such a routine that no one truly values spending time with the other person. The same is true for women. If you constantly spend time with them, they'll get bored. Additionally, being available all the time will have the same negative effect. You see, a big mistake many men make is the fact that they're willing to respond frequently, and they want to continuously respond to text messages. Another mistake is when she's bored and tells you she wants to do something. Weak men will always say yes, and this means she knows that you will always be available to serve her needs. As good as this might sound, it allows a woman to lose a lot of respect for you, and she understands that you're the one chasing now. What you might have learned from many of our other videos is that you need to flip a situation to help you become the person she's chasing. When a woman needs to chase a man, she's invested, and this means that she'll be the one with all the effort. So you need to stop always being available, and we would recommend that you take some time for yourself. Learn to occasionally say no and make her chase you a little more. The less frequently you communicate, the more she'll be willing to chase you. Number 3, establish a sense of mystery. One of the most powerful things to keep in mind when it comes to dating is mystery. While mystery is not something you can flaunt around every single day, it's very important to have this at the start of a relationship. Just a disclaimer, we're not suggesting that men keep secrets from their partners, especially when you're in a good and long-term relationship. However, a little bit of mystery in the initial stages of the dating game will make one massive difference and allow you to have a woman chase you. As much as we're repeating this in our videos, you should note that women love mysteries, and they're often focused on solving things they don't know. In fact, it takes a lot of effort and hard work for women to find out what they need to find out. But the process of trying to solve a mystery is when you're living rent-free in her mind. This works even when she's given you clear signs that she's not truly interested. It's best to just continue being mysterious and allow her to chase the mystery. The pursuit of these answers is often enough to make a woman begin to like you. But you also need to decide whether you want a woman to like you only because you're mysterious. This tip works best when used with things like great dates and when you're reducing your availability to make her think a lot about what and who you are and what your intentions might be. Number 4, be bold and unapologetic. One of the reasons why certain men get women so quickly is their willingness to be bold and to make some bold statements. You see, the one reality of life is that everyone loves a fantasy. But politics have taught us that people also love being sold a fantasy in their lives. This doesn't mean that you should be lying in any way or shape, but rather you should work on your confidence. You should be willing to say whatever it is you want to say when you want to. Of course, this still needs to be respectful and make you seem like a gentleman with a little bit of an edge. You see, many men are so afraid of saying what they have on their mind, and women tend to notice this. Eventually, these men begin to act in a somewhat passive-aggressive manner, which turns women off immediately. By saying what you need to say and being direct with your words, you're far more likely to have people like and respect you. Unfortunately, it's extremely hard to get everyone to like you, but respect is more important in any case. You always see a leader being bold and willing to say what they need to. People respect this, but when things go wrong, simply come up with a solution instead of apologizing. You see, apologizing for futile things will make you seem very weak. Number 5, use social media. Social media is a blessing or a curse, depending on how you want to look at it. You see, everyone's using social media, but what's frightening is the fact that people believe social media is actually a way to get to know someone or to figure them out. This is not the case, and life doesn't work in such ways. You see, a woman craves a man who lives an interesting life and someone who's doing things that she might also want to do. When she starts talking to you, one of the first things you're bound to notice is that she'll be keeping tabs on your social media. The reason is to see what you're up to. Many women believe that if a guy doesn't use social media, he's living a boring life or that nothing of value is actually going on. If you happen to post about everything you do, she'll see that your life is more fun than she might have noticed. But you do need to have a more fun life for you to do this. If you're not someone for social media, you can simply ignore this, and whilst it might be a little harder to get women to see your life as interesting, you can heavily focus on the mystery angle. You see, women are far more interested in solving a good mystery than they are in social media, which often instills a bit of jealousy in her mind as well. The important thing is to signal value, and she needs to realize that you are a very valuable person, and whoever gets to spend time with you should actually value it. Number 6, skip the attention trap. One thing women love doing is testing men, and you're very likely to be tested frequently, especially during the initial stages of any relationship. When you master all of these techniques, a woman will not simply just fall in your arms. You see, women also understand the relationship dynamics and specifically how the power games work. She knows that she can use herself to see how much resolve you have, and if you have another person who simply just falls over when she uses her body. When you're busy and you're not actively giving a woman attention, the one thing she'll do is try to fight for your attention. She'll bait you through various means to see how you react and to see if she has the kind of power when it comes to dating you. These traps can come in various ways, but they always try to distract you from what it is that you're doing. And she'll try her level best to make sure that all of the attention is now focused on her. You should check out some of our other videos on how stoicism can help you overcome these traps and take back control. But the flip side is also true. You see, a woman might try to get your attention by ignoring you and often even ghosting you when you eventually respond. All of this is considered games, and when this happens, you should leave her to come to her senses. The most important thing is that you do not start chasing. Number 7, be social. The one thing that is very attractive to women is when a man has an active social life. You see, a man without friends or any social group has a hard time, especially when it comes to proving that they're likable to other human beings. One thing women find very important is when they have a man who is generally accepted by other men. This shows that you have an active social life and you have other people. If you have a few women who've become friends, this is even better and signals that other women do like spending time with you. Women can quickly become jealous when these things happen, but even if your intention is not to make her jealous, it's one of those things that will naturally work in your favor. The goal of getting women to like you involves taking some time to make them feel like they need you. If you make her feel like this, whilst presenting a little bit of competition, she's even more likely to chase you and try to hold you down. However, you should not try to make her jealous purposely or so much that she figures it out, or this will backfire significantly. Number 8, focus on your purpose and goals. Finally, everything comes down to who you are and where you're going in life. You see, women truly want a man who signals to them that they have the capabilities of accumulating future resources, especially from a younger age. Women are very intuitive, and certain things you do or talk about will signal this to her. We've found that a man who lives a purposeful life and is driven by something more than simply a woman is far more likely to have success with women, even when they're not fully interested. The main reason is because women understand that he's working to do something in the future, and that the attention is not solely fixated on them. Believe it or not, but women love to fight for attention from their men. This doesn't mean you should be rejecting her constantly, but you should make her chase you quite a bit. She'll also appreciate the attention far more, and this will naturally also make her feel like she's investing something into the relationship. One thing you eventually realize is that women need to invest in a relationship, or they become bored and seek to invest themselves somewhere else. By using these 8 techniques, you can change the whole world, and your dating life will be that much more interesting. Women are very complicated if you try to figure them out, and you're likely to be wasting your time. By shifting the focus to be more on yourself, you're bound to achieve better results. We recommend you check out our videos on how to deal with dates to help you gain more insight next.